I'm the Director of Development here at Angela Hospice, and I've been that for a good 14 years. Angela Hospice has been a partner of Plymouth Community United Way for even longer than that. It goes way back to Sister Giovanni's original work here in the community for all of this Wayne County area, our local area. And the work of Plymouth Community United Way has significantly impacted the work of Angela Hospice. The fact that Angela Hospice cares for anybody who requires hospice care, regardless of whether they have some form of payment or insurance ability, that means almost nothing to us in our ability to accept any patient and any family member. Currently, the kind of support that we receive from charitable income, including Plymouth Community United Way, supports especially our Good Samaritan Fund, which runs in the hundreds of thousands of dollars every year. That fund helps people who have absolutely no resource for health care or hospice care, whether it's residential or wherever it's being given. And the fact that we are supported so generously by the people in the community who understand the value of their work in the community, but the value of that time, that experience, the opportunity of families to come together in that really crucial moment, making literally lifelong, enduring, important memories. It's so well regarded in the community that it's something that translates into great support from Community United Way to Angela Hospice. We've been blessed to be able to reach into families for decades now because of that kind of support. We're hopeful that the Plymouth Community United Way supporters understand the significant impact of their gift. It is not small. It is profound. And the only regret that we have is that the recipients, the family members who are the receivers of that gift, don't get a chance to look at you face to face and thank you for the significant impact that you've had on their lifelong memories and on their loved one in enduring and indescribable ways. That's kind of the thing that we really appreciate about the support, the robust and wonderful support of Plymouth Community United Way for Angela Hospice and its mission in the entire community.
So how does someone, when you get in the client, what is it, because there is a cost associated.
There's what?
A cost
Oh yeah,
associated.
yeah, significant.
What do you get if it's insurance or things like that?
Yep. There is an insurance element to hospice care. Most insurances and most Medicares have, and certainly Medicaid, have a component for hospice care in some ways. Not everybody falls under those umbrellas. Not everybody really is the recipient of that. And even the ones that are have many times insufficient support to enable them, for example, to live in a residential building. I hope you get a chance to see the building that's here, which is really unique to Michigan and even to the country. There are only a handful of residential inpatient facilities in the state. So the support that family members have from insurance entities or other kinds of outside sources that are institutional is insufficient many times, and for the most part, to cover their costs. The costs which are associated with hospice care are pretty vast, especially if it's a residential experience, because it's 24-hour care, comprehensive, and really detailed. So the expenses that are attached to that for nursing and social work and aftercare, even when the patient passes away, costs continue for years sometimes for that specific patient. At that point, there is no insurance or no funding entity. That's all from charitable income. So there are a lot of expenses that really are unaddressed, that family members are unable to afford, but that we know they need. And so we're really blessed to be able to provide those kinds of services and cares, including, like I say, the Good Samaritan care, We Honor Veterans care that we have. It's a special element of care that we have for veterans that addresses their specific life and experiences. That's funded by community support. That's the kind of thing that our hearts want to give them. It's the kind of thing that their hearts and their families need, but that there's no funding source aside from the community who embraces them and loves them through it.
When you're talking costs after they pass, what kind of costs are we talking? I don't know. That's why
Sure.
I'm asking.
Sure, it's interesting. Hospice care is something that is attached to the patient, but hospice itself is actually attached to the patient and the family. So when a patient passes away, part of the structure of hospice includes providing a continual care for the family for at least a year, and if the patient is a child, then we have a pediatric program that is also well supported by charitable gifts, 2 years, in which case then family members continue to be counseled with their losses and their grief and all the rest of that stuff. There's not really a funding source for that because the funding ends when the patient passes away. So all of the expenses, and we have like 5 social workers on staff all the time caring for people for whom we have no income source. So all of that is supported by the charitable income.
Okay, that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's profound.
That's amazing.
It's profound. I'll tell you something. This is the kind of aftercare that we give, the kind of care that we give for people who have lost. Obviously, we understand it. We care for thousands of patients, and therefore all their family members. So many more thousands of family members and patients every single year. We have no limit on the kind of aftercare that's available to those family members. They're not limited by time. They can come as long or as often as they need. The entire community has availability for that. We have grief and loss care for example, for family members of those who have died by suicide. That's not a hospice death, but that's a death in the community, and it's a death that the community feels and members of the community experience. And so our care reaches out to them, even though there's no funding source whatsoever. Again, it's the community providing the funding that nurses and ministers to those folks who are going through that.
That is so awesome.